Welcome to Veterans Forum, a program by veterans, about veterans, for veterans and their families. I'm your co-host, Bob West, with Ray Chattery and Jerry Devlin. Our goal is to provide you with important information about legislation, benefits, support, and activities for you and your family by interviewing leaders in our community. Jerry, who do we have with us today?
We're very lucky tonight, Bob, to have with us Andy Martel, who is a past department commander of the AMVETS, which is the informal name of the American veterans. Andy was born and he's a native of Maine, a state where shoveling snow is a year-round occupation. And he is a graduate of the great University of Maine at Orono, Maine, enlisted in the Army as a private and went to officers candidate school and retired 21 years later as a lieutenant colonel. He's an American success story, both professionally and as a very distinguished veteran and a leader of the veterans community in this community. Nice to have you with us, Andy.
Thank you very much, Jerry.
Welcome, Andy. As our first guest from AMVETS, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about the AMVETS, their programs, how they got started?
Well, AMVETS is a veteran service organization like all of the other ones that we all belong to. Started in 1944, really based upon a need to accommodate veterans who were not veterans of a particular war, veterans of a particular time, veterans of a particular time frame, but simply had served honorably within the United States services. And we still hold those recruiting requirements today. You merely have to have served honorably in the United States military in order to be a member of AMVETS. We were one of the first to be able to accept Korean War veterans, Vietnam War veterans, and now we have outlooks to both reserves and the National Guards because we could take them as well. National Guard in particular, we have a joint agreement with the National Guard now so that we can actually enter into National Guard locations and be able to help them with their functions as well as they can help them with ours. So AMVETS in particular is a wide open organization to all veterans who have served honorably within the United States.
So basically, if you have served one day honorably and received your discharge, you could be a member of AMVETS.
Well, it has to be more than one day, obviously, to be able to get a discharge. So in order to get a DD-214, you have to have served for some time. Even the National Guard has that. But if you're eligible for an honorable discharge, then you're eligible for membership in AMVETS, whether that have been 2 years of mandatory service or whether or not that was a 21-year veteran like I am.
Mm-hmm. Where's the national headquarters for AMVETS?
National headquarters is located in Lanham. That's a move. Originally, they started off on Rhode Island Avenue, but they've moved out to Lanham, have their own building out there. National Commander resides there all year long, although the National Commander obviously comes from all parts of the country. He resides there all year long in a townhouse right near there and conducts business directly from there.
So here we have a major veterans organization headquartered right here in Prince George's County.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of people simply don't know about it.
To tell you the truth, our biggest claim to fame is probably our thrift stores and getting phone calls from that ask you whether or not you have clothing to donate or furniture to donate. That's probably the biggest claim to fame and probably the widest recognition that the AMVETS name receives. Although unfortunately, it's probably not what we should be known for. We should be known for the programs that we're conducting. For last year in 2010, for instance, AMVETS total donations accounted for someplace around $33 million worth of donations to veterans across the country and across the world, for that matter. So yeah, unfortunately, we're getting notoriety, but it's the notoriety. It's good notoriety, but it's not the one that we would prefer to be known for.
So in Maryland, you are the past department commander here in Maryland.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about AMVETS in Maryland.
AMVETS in Maryland is pretty small. Didn't start until the 1965 era. Started by a very great man called A. Leo Anderson, who was a joint veteran of the year. Really good mentor, understood the system, understood veterans, understood all of the veteran service organizations as well. Started in the mid-1960s, has progressed, although somewhat slowly. Our numbers are still only about 3,600 mainly within Western Maryland. Most of the members concentrated in Hagerstown, Frederick, Thurmont, Middletown, but we're starting to spread. My post in Lanham, Maryland, Post 115, is starting to grow larger. We're up to a couple hundred members now. We have a post that we're going to next week, as a matter of fact, in Denton, Maryland, on the other side on the Eastern Shore. And they're starting to grow as well, although they're pretty small. They're in the 40, 50 member range. The post down in Waldorf is starting to grow. They're at about 110% membership this year. So their membership is increasing as well. So we're hoping to be able to expand AMVETS farther than just Western Maryland.
AMVETS, of course, has a lot of its World War II. A great many younger veterans felt that they weren't well served by the American Legion. So there was a little bit of that. Sometimes, you know, veterans organizations were never very welcoming to the veterans of the next war. That's something we've tried to get away from in all of our organizations. Right. But you know, somehow younger veterans aren't always happy with us. They have different issues and things like that. And it's a great organ. You collect used clothing. You say, yeah, that's your thrift stores. Oh,
there was a whole series of thrift stores across the country.
I was wondering where you got that suit.
No, I actually bought this one, but thank you very much. I'm hoping you like it.
One thing about thrift stores is that's where you get your money for your service programs.
There are lots of money comes through the thrift store programs, and fortunately, it's a sort of a double-edged sword. I mean, we can help a lot of people with a lot of inexpensive clothing and furniture items, and at the same time, we make money to help us do programs.
You're a great organization, really is, Andy.
Thank you very much.
You can be very proud of it.
Hey, we do have there is one local, but there's a big thrift store in Laurel.
Yes.
Right, and as I say, which is very convenient to Bowie, and as I say, I know that they do a lot over there, and they have a beautiful store there.
Yeah, there are actually 5 in Maryland, so we do pretty well, and we're very fortunate to have those. 2 in Baltimore, 1 in Laurel, 1 in Clinton. So we're doing quite well with those. And it gives us an opportunity to get involved in the community, and it's really pretty good.
Well, tell us about the benefits, Andy. What type of benefits do the AMVETS have for veterans?
Yeah, I can run off a laundry list for you. Mm-hmm. What I would like to tell you is that the greatest benefit you can have in joining AMVETS is the opportunity to serve other veterans. I believe that's the greatest within those fixed programs that are conducted nationally. We have the same that many of the other service organizations do. Rental car breaks, breaks off hotel rooms. We have a corporate agreement with Choice Hotels throughout the country. In fact, that's sort of an interesting one. You can actually call them from the parking lot and tell them you want a room, and they'll give you a room. Ice creams, ice cream places. There are all kinds of those tiny little benefits across. But generally speaking, I will tell you that, and insurances, but generally speaking, I would tell you that the biggest benefit is being able to serve other veterans inside a fixed organization and inside programs. Yeah, it's the reason why we exist now, isn't it?
And how would veterans get a hold of the AMVETS?
There is an 800 number, obviously, but the easiest way always is through the website. It's www.amvets.org, and that will take you to the national site. And perhaps not strangely, the Department of Maryland site is www.amvets-md.org. So you can get to either site. Each of those will show you not only how you can enlist and enroll, but each of those will show you a whole list of programs and what we're up to and how you could volunteer in any of those.
And do you also have a local phone number that people can call?
There are local phone numbers posted on the webpage. I don't have them directly with me, so
That's
if
okay.
you're asking me to, they can always call me.
Okay.
But yeah, the webpage is probably the best place to get all of that.
And the reason we say that is because a lot of our viewers are older veterans, and some of them don't have access to a computer. Okay. So we always want to make sure that, you know, besides going on the website, that there's a phone number that they can call, and we can post it right on the screen for them.
Okay. Okay. Well, I could give you a phone number now. You could call me at 301-332-1680. I could see it flashing underneath me now. 301-332-1680. And certainly I will put them in touch either with my post, or if they don't live in this direct area, then certainly in outlying areas as well.
Well, that's important for us to know.
Okay, good, thank you.
Andy, do you have the service officers like the DAV does?
We do. We have 47 service officers across the country. There is one that services the state of Maryland, and we have been fighting for more. Certainly, there are too many veterans in the state of Maryland for one service officer to be able to handle all that. He has been mainly located in Baltimore, but is now also doing double duty in Washington, D.C., so imagine how fixed his schedule is. But that service officer has now made arrangements to also make stops in Annapolis and talk to the Navy folks out in Annapolis at the Naval Academy, and he also stops at Fort Meade, and he also stops at Andrews on fixed days of the month. So if anybody within each of those areas has any questions about any of their service or any of their benefits, they could certainly get in touch with him. And if you need that kind of schedule, again, you can call me at 301-332-1680.
Well, do you have post homes like the other service organizations do?
We have a few, not many, not as many as the VFW would have or the American Legion would have. We require our post homes to be autonomous, so they actually own their own homes, each post one at a time. So we have 4, and they're unfortunately where most of our American veterans are, and they're in Western Maryland, in Hagerstown, Middletown, Frederick, and Thurmont. So,
In case you drop by those towns.
pardon me? Oh yeah, if you ever by there, I mean they're really on the main drags of all of those cities. So it's very easy to find. We are trying to open more, and what we're trying to do now is probably in relation to what my post is doing, Post 115, is that we're trying to merge organizations. More and more the VFW or American Legion posts or DAV posts are having difficulty with membership, difficulty maintaining a home, doing whatever. So we're trying to merge some of our posts in with some of their posts, not only to assist in maintaining the home and keeping the home going, but also trying to double up on the capabilities of either our posts and their posts, and being able to do joint activities and make things even better.
Well, give us some idea of what kind of activities are going to be coming up in the next year.
Well, in my post, for instance, at Post 115, we have joined with a VFW Post 8950 on Greenbelt Road, or right off Greenbelt Road. There we have a whole series of activities for Memorial Day, Veterans Day, certainly all of the veterans' holidays that go through, but we also have the opportunity for socializing within the club itself. There are activities within the club every Friday night, every Tuesday night, and every Thursday night. So those are moving quite well, and we're hoping to be able to add some of that as well. There are longer activities. We're trying to develop a joint honor guard out of each of those posts, so that we could march in parades, so that we could preside at honor guard ceremonies, at funerals and military events. So all of that is trying to merge together. I mean, this is from our perspective and our 2 posts. It's pretty new to us. We've only been at it for about 6 months now, so we're still working some of the details out. But certainly the merger is going very well.
And from the headquarters standpoint of the AMVETS, I imagine they have some legislation interests like the other organizations do.
Absolutely. Every year at a national convention, we adopt a series of goals and legislative goals, as well as a series of programs that we want brought forth, and we